We are live. Huzzah. What a great day today is to be live. Let me also mute this real quick. I am so friggin' happy. What's going on, Zero? It's good to see you, man. I'm kind of mad. I should have just streamed it. I was going to stream sooner, but that bug was bothering me. And I was like, you know what? Maybe this bug, I'm not going to be able to figure it out while I'm live. And maybe that's the case, but at the same time, I kind of wish I just had the proof that I did it live. Whatever. Hi, Draco. Kieran, it's been a while, man. Good to see you, man. So last time we talked about how we're struggling with this object culling business, right? And how we want to just have like this wall of like recycled game objects. So even though we have a billion objects in the game, we should only show the ones that are on screen. And look at it here, baby. Okay, it was literally working before stream. Okay, there we go. It's happening. All the objects are being recycled, man. This is like the extreme case, and there's some no references because of not having a large enough. I'm not sure. I think maybe not having a large enough pool or whatever. Whatever. Anyways, we solved the issue. And it's working very fast. Like it's like we're getting 130 FPS right now. That's pretty good, man. That's pretty good. Oh, I thought I played the fireplace sound. There we go. Yeah, compared to last stream, we're like in the 80s or 90s territory. And the cause of this issue, the crux of this issue, the crux of this, it's kind of two-pronged actually. I had these two operators flipped. These two operators were flipped. Those two operators are flipped. I was using and here. Okay, how many Discord instances do I have? Is there another Discord I don't know about somewhere else here on this tab? I do have another one here. But yeah, brother. This was like that stream, I went to sleep actually, like I haven't had this in a long time. What's going on, Relaxing Karma? Is it done? Yeah, it's happening. But I went that night, last stream, I went to sleep so mad because like it should be work. This should just work. I know I'm not dumb. Okay, it's not that I'm not dumb. I feel like I architected this pretty decently, right? It's not convoluted or anything. So why is this not working? And it was just these two things. I forgot to flip these. Who'da thunk it? And then the other part was that I had if the object pool exceeded, if you requested too many objects in the pool, it would fail, and it would fail before the culling. So the other fix to that, which I'm not actually happy with, because it's inefficient, but whatever. The other changes, I had this originally. I had it where you updated the model, created the objects, and then you'd cull the ones that don't need to be in view. But if this failed with an exception, we would never cull the objects, which means no objects get returned to the pool, which means that the next frame, if you try calling update model and there's not enough object in the pool, it fails. Now we preemptively cull all the objects that are outside of the view. Actually, I think it's not even inefficient because we have an updated min-max, so yeah, we're good. We cull the objects preemptively, and then we do update model and do that whole business. So with this, two changes of just reordering the function calls and changing the bitwise operation, we have ourselves the working culling logic. Isn't this great, guys? Isn't this great? We have the object culling working. So only the objects that are in view are going to be, and this is the worst case scenario where there's like objects in every single part of the level. But like in practicality, it's not going to be that bad. So I'm excited. I feel pretty excited, guy. I feel like we could start making games, or start making the game. No, C sharp. Yeah, thank you, Zero. Thank you, Zero. So yeah, I'm feeling pleased as punch. Now we're gonna be testing some additional things like, hey, let's actually extend this window out to the full width of the screen. And length, because as you get faster in the game, the camera zooms out, so there should be more things that are visible to you. But you know, like it's like there, man. It's like there, Scoobs. It's like there, man. I think we're gonna do some code, like reorganization too, because this class has kind of grown massive, and I'm having a better, clearer idea of how I want to structure this stuff. But yeah. I'm happy, man. I'm happy. I'm happy. We're at day 19 right now. Yeah, it's rough zero. We're at day 19 of 21. We're probably gonna have to add another week to get this game done, but I don't know. 2 days to add a few objects maybe, and then design the levels. We still have to test out the other thing, because we've implemented 2 major systems here without testing them, which was the object culling thing, and then this level generation chunk thing, which we've tested it 0 times. We've written all this code here. We've written all this code here, 100 and something lines, 50 lines, tested it 0 times. So we should probably do that at some point. But brother, I'm so happy. I'm just so happy, man. I am so I am pleased as punch, man. You know, sometimes I'm programming, I'm like, this is the worst thing ever. Why did I decide to do this? I'm totally just terrible. And there's just so many problems that keep happening, and and then there's other days where it's like, I'm a genius. I am the king of the castle. And life is great, man, and it's like that until we get to the next big roadblocker, and we'll just deal with that when we get to it. There's so many things that's like I'm just happy it kind of worked out. Like this whole sine table computation thing too. That's great. That's nice. Makes things easier. All right, let me catch up in chat real quick. Are you gonna release this game on? I'm gonna release it on mobile. In fact, let's actually build to the mobile device right now. As you can see here, that's the game working on mobile, as well as you know, Linux. Maybe I'll do a Windows build. Who knows, guys? Maybe we'll make a Windows build. I don't know, guys. I don't think there's many PC gamers on Windows. All right, let's stop being goofy and actually do some stuff here. We also have that document. So we have this whole performance analysis between we had this original one where it was bad. It was like not performant to what we need, which is like 60 FPS on my machine, which is not great. Then we did this fixed allocation dictionary thing, and that lowered the performance from like 12 milliseconds, 12.8 milliseconds total to 6.3. That was great. Let me see current implementation, which is like a few things. Like it has like the sine table lookup, some other stuff. I don't know. There's a bunch of things that I've done here. We're just gonna grab a random frame. We're gonna go to the profiler. In fact, I think I even have the profiler here. It's been running this entire time. And yeah. Oh baby. Look at that. Look at it. Look at the numbers, guys. We have GB update, which takes 0.86 milliseconds. 0.86 milliseconds. We have GB update model, which is 0.86 milliseconds. That's like most of it, and then the other part is like 0.24 milliseconds. So the math isn't mathing for the total. I think there's some closed. Let's actually make sure that we have our measurements correct before I even do that. But that's just like crazy speed improvements that we've implemented. Crazy speed improvements and how we structured and written everything. So I'm actually super duper happy. And we didn't, this isn't without any burst jobs or anything. This is just good old fashioned C# and just improvements on the our implementation. Let's see here. Yeah, so this is encapsulating everything. That's the problem. So we need to change this to be here. Okay, that's now we're gonna have a proper measurement for culling objects and for the update model, and we're gonna see how long it takes in general for this to run. And then we're gonna have our updated numbers, and let's freaking go, man. Yeah, we're building a game right now. Thank you, Dad. I'm glad, or Dat. I'm glad you find this calming. Now implement a super flux capacitor to supercharge your game. You're right, dude. Let's just add like a little nuclear reactor to everyone's mobile phones. Just add a nuclear reactor. Okay. There's some weird jank that's still happening that I need to fix, but that's nothing compared to what we're dealing with. Okay, so we're like, there's a wide, not a wide gamut, but there's like a different levels of that we have here. But they're all hovering around like 1 millisecond. Like there's 0.96, 1.28. Let's even take the worst. Like where is it? Is this from that? Yeah, this is like the biggest peak. Actually, let's go to the one that's like 1.22. That's like the worst case scenario. Okay, so we have over here. Let's actually yoink this. So this is 1.2, 1.22, 0.764 update. And then how much for the object call? Oh dang, I moved it by accident. Where's the 1.2? I know you're somewhere around here. Where's the 1.2? Was it there? It's 2.3. It's close, but that's not the one. Where is it? I don't see it here. There's one's like 1.33. That's a worse. Let's use the worst one we can find. 1.33. I'm gonna put it to the side here. Let's use the worst one. 1.33, and update takes 1.03, and model update. No, model update takes 1.03, and object call takes about 0.29. So even like one of the worst readings of this, or probably the worst one, brother, we got crazy performance juice out of this. Guys, we started from freaking 12 milliseconds and we got it down to like 1.33 milliseconds. Let's freaking go, dude. Let's freaking go, man. Let's freaking go. This is so freaking cool. I'm happy, man. Okay, there's still some jank that we have to deal with. So let's actually, because that's with this current setting, which is the same configuration I had across these other ones here. But let's, you know, honestly, let's scale this up, because I think now that I think about it, maybe, no, that's not a fair comparison, because I think we used this value for the cull half height. As much as I'm happy with that, like having a lower number, that's actually not accurate now that I think about it. And this doesn't impact performance, those extra two indices. Because I think it's going to expand the size of the culling area, potentially. I mean, it's not that significantly different, if I'm going to be real with you. Like, the readings I'm having right now are still in the same ballpark of like 1.4, 1.25, 1.5. Some get to 1.7, so it does increase, but still it's way smaller than what we had before, dude. Way smaller. Okay, but now we're gonna start doing some, I mean, there's still some things we need to address here. Like in the beginning, things are a bit odd for a few frames. I think behavior gets just weird with this color when we get closer to the edge of the buffer bounds, but or closer to 0 index. Or maybe not. I don't know, it's like working perfectly fine now. So okay, let's see how this scales when we expand our area. And it seems like with this, the place with highest potential growth is like the model update, which is going to scale, be the one that is impacted by scale once we move our border out a bit more. So if we do, let's say, let's go here. Where's the const? You're somewhere here. There we go. So let's make our left pad, or left cell margin. That's left. Okay, here we go. This is what dictates like how big our window is. So let's make this like 20. Let's make that bigger. And make this like, yeah, it's gonna be like double the size. Maybe we should even like triple it almost, to really just cover the entire screen and see how this works consistently. Let me catch up, guys. Thank you, Yeoman. Yeah, people always assume Windows because they don't even know what OS stands for. So it's a common question is some people probably ask, how does your computer look that way? Oh yeah, it's because it's Linux. What's up, TST? It's good to see you, man. Yes, we are live. We're live. I can't wait to watch the YouTube. Hey. Okay. And hey. Okay, we're getting some weird stuff in the beginning like we mentioned, but then it like becomes consistently fine. And we're averaging 90 something FPS. Let me see if this is even, because we might have to expand the left. We might have to shift it over a bit, because we're kind of breaking the illusion of like this not being seamless. I imagine if we change the spacing to be wider, it would also change how much of an impact this is. So the player has, or can see what? Are we gonna count this for, are we gonna actually count this? Am I gonna do this to myself? I just wanna see what is the maximum they can actually see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And how much do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay, so it's not that bad. They can see 15, we're showing 18. We just need to shift it over like 3. Yeah, that's not a big deal. Let's try to make this illusion. I need to move these to actual proper constants because I'm going to forget how much, but whatever. And this is in meters as well, so we have to like think about it doubled. Because it's, we're including this as well, so it's actually not, we're just going to eyeball it. We're just going to eyeball it. Let's do 28. And let's do a further, not 4, let's do 8. And then as far as this, the width here, let's have this be a bit bigger as well. We're gonna double it. Let's see just how things scale here. Why is the setup so cozy? Because it's fun. I like the coziness. Nah, we're using C#, man. Yes, 414 concurrent viewers. That's kind of nuts, dude. That's kind of insane, man. I'm not gonna lie. But hello, everyone. Hopefully you enjoy your stay here as I try to. I don't think the Y padding is working the way you want to. I still need to figure out what's going on at the beginning there. It's odd. We almost have this sensation, like we almost have the illusion of just unbroken objects coming in to the left and right, but not quite there yet. The Y is just not expanding the way I want to, which is kind of tragic. So I wonder, it's actually seeing the same, so it's not even changing with, like, are we even using, is this being used? Game board manager. Let me go to the actual cull Y range. What are we using for this? Yeah, we're using cull half height here. And then we're doing plus cull half height here. So is my math just not working out, or am I just being dumb? In half, yes, we did. I love all the tech, and he's using an old CRT. Yeah, I mean, it's fun, man. It's not as unusable as you'd imagine it to be. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. I can either keep fighting this, or I can say, you know what, let's start implementing the rest of the game, and we can go back to this in a bit. Because, like, there's levels to this, right? We have this culling system for a particular purpose, which is that I want to have a custom generator for, like, terrain. Not for terrain, but, like, for obstacles. Where, if I can go here, it's calidraw.com. Like, you're seeing an array of dots, right? We have the whole idea. Here's the whole game board. Here's the player. They can only see a small subsection of that. In fact, actually, I think we have another place where we better illustrated this idea. Yeah, over here, where this cylinder, and then the player, the red is everything the player can see. And right now you're seeing, like, all an array of just these circles that are popping in. Like, you see the array of all these. Okay, let's make this a bit bigger, shall we? So you see, like, this unified or uniform array of circles. And this is just for testing purposes, right? But that's not the goal, to have just a huge wall of it. That's just the worst case scenario. What I'd like to do is actually have like a pathway that the player can navigate forward, where, like, it's essentially going to create a shape like this, some kind of pathway for the player to navigate into, and it's going to be comprised of, like, these spherical things, a high number of them, which is what kind of necessitated this whole culling thing, because the alternate I had in mind was doing some dynamic mesh generation, which would have been, I think it would have for sure taken longer than it took for me to do this, or at least to do the way I had in mind. There's, like, two ways of implementing that. But anyways, so we have the first part of just, hey, we can't have a million instances of game objects in the game. Like, that's not going to fly, especially on mobile. We have that fixed now. Now we have to actually do the generation of this map, right? Where we actually create these paths. And I think the simplest thing would be just having this buffer where everything's marked as a hazard, and then we carve paths out of it, or we just iterate, you know, through here and kind of go through there, and basically it's going to be like a function, maybe kind of similar to what we did for the shell generation, where an object can move between, where is it? Yeah, here, where like every single step through the array, things can move up one or down one, or it just stays the same if they go past a certain border, and generate multiple of those, so we have like a bunch of different paths in the game. Of course, it wouldn't be just one index we mark as like clear. We'd also have to, you know, we'd have to like have a brush size and affect the adjacent ones, but that's not crazy, I don't think. I think it should be fine. I think the way of structured memory, though, is probably not the ideal if we're talking about Uber optimization, because like, even though this is conceptually a 2D array, in practicality we actually have this as one general array, and then we just do the math when it comes to accessing specific X and Y indices, which is fine. But if we're going to do this whole brush thing, then there's like this thing that's going to happen where we miss cache lines, which is not great. It's fine for like contiguousness on changes on the X, but on the Y, I think that's where things are going to get weird. But maybe we just operate on the X anyways, and that way we don't have to worry about. That way it's still very much cache aligned. Yeah, I think we're going to do that. Okay, so before we do that though, I do believe this class needs a little bit of a refactor, because it's like 400 lines long, and we're kind of doing a bunch of different things here. We're doing the object culling stuff. We are doing the entity creation things. We're doing the model setup and then the view construction as well, which is not great. So I think what we're gonna do is break this into two major modules. One that's gonna be containing all the logic for the culling business, and then another one containing all the stuff for generation. I think that might make the most sense here. What's going on here, guys? Real vibe coding. What's going on here, guys? But the vibe is insane. Thank you, man. I'm glad. Looks huge. Yeah, you know, honestly, this might be a bad sign. This might be a red flag about me as a programmer, but this is not that bad in my eyes. Like, I'm so used to dealing with things that are far bigger. Like, usually most classes I work with professionally are like 500 plus lines, around there. So I've kind of gotten to this point of like, okay, we're used to the smell here, but let's not do that. Let's not do that. Let's actually try to break things up reasonably. Let's try to be the change you want to see in the world. So in this case, we're gonna have model generation. How do I want to structure this? Because I don't want to break this into, part of this is that the model is embedded into the structure of the class. Like, I intentionally made this stuff primitives and made the dictionary we have, or our table, intentionally struct, so so all the memory is kind of embedded into the class, so there's not much jumping around in memory. So I think the way we're going to go about doing this is that either we do static utility functions, which honestly I think might be just easy, fine for this. In fact, let's just do that, because I think we're going to do a bunch of different generators anyways. So you have model generation and then .cs. So that's going to be one thing for sure. Yeah, let's just start with that and then see how the logic moves there. And then maybe if we care about not having the cost of like indirection, we can always, I don't know, do like aggressive inlining, because I don't think the things we're doing are going to be that, I don't know, we'll see what happens. So yeah, let's start doing that. Let's go to start, and I think this is where there's a bunch of things, because you have this sign table too, we have to embed somewhere. It's only really used here as well. Object pool, broker, where do we do the generation here? Playboard, transform, location. Where do we do? Okay, level generators. Okay, so we actually straight up have an entire class for this. So that's nice because we can just yoink this, go into level generators, model generator. I'm sorry, did I not? Oh, did I name this CD by accident? Yeah, I did. 1 second. To model generation .cs, not VSCS. Okay. Generation. All right, work with me. There we go. We can yoink this. Now we have all the stuff there. There's some things that are required, like the board width and height, which are constants, but we are passing in this game board. But I think what we're gonna do is, instead of having this be like a thing that mutates the class internally, I think the generator, the whole output should just be the model, right? And then we can just do level generators dot generate. Let's go here and have this be it returns basically the model, right? So it's going to be an array of entity. We see it for the entire map. And what this is going to do is, instead of having the game board manager, because we shouldn't have to have any information about this. Instead, or if we want to mutate this field directly, instead of having this whole allocation, we can just do a ref. Yeah, and that's fine as well. And then as far as the constants are concerned, I'm pretty sure these are public. So we can just do this. It's kind of verbose. I don't like it personally. I honestly kind of like this construct. The reason I kind of wanted to do the thing of having this return a model, because then we could just pass specifications. This is the size of the model, the height and width of the board, and then you just do the thing. Yeah, I don't think I have to worry about, you know, honestly, it's fine. We can just do this. We can just make our own. Have this return this, and then we pass in specification for like int width, int height, and then we can just replace all the instances of board here with nothing, and then this would just simply be model. And then what do we do? Oh, you know what? Actually, no, I don't want to do this actually, because I'm realizing when you go to levels, you're still gonna have to do. Yeah, I'm dumb. Yeah, why just do the reality? Let's just do the ref. It's all right. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. We can just do that. Life is fine. And as far as width and height, maybe we can just do that. Like, it's not the end of the world to pass in the constants explicitly. I don't know. It's not crazy. So this is going to be one for just. I think we're going to keep all the functions. So this is going to be generate just all hazards. Oops, all hazards. So it's going to generate a map where everything, like every single cell of it is just hazards. But let's generate have another one that's purposed to be more intuitive. It'll be like level 1, let's say. And it's going to have the same signature. And then we'll implement this at some point. My goodness, I can't type today. It's code over here, man. Is this fine, or is there already another thing with this? All right, let me catch up in chat real quick. Oh my goodness, we have 1,000 viewers? When did this happen, dude? Hi, everyone. Glad to have you guys here. Oh, no, not concurrent, my bad. Wait, no, that's concurrent. What? Brother, what? When did this happen? When did this happen? Hi, everyone. Glad to have you guys here. Oh, man. What's going on, Gray Voice? Merry Koreansmas. Nice to see you here. What game is made here? I'm working on a game in 3-week project right now. My favorite. Oh, okay, sick, man. So, we have this whole thing here. Maybe we should do a good best practice of just like having everything be documented, but whatever. And then, is there a need to do this? Maybe we just treat this like C, where it's like, hey, you can't just provide an array, you have to provide an array and its length. So this is just part of our specification that, hey, you provide this. Or you know what we can even do is just be like, hey, you provide a game board. This feels dumb. If I'm gonna be real with you, this feels dumb. But whatever, game board manager. And then we do game board. Board. Oh, this is a stat. There's no need to do that. Is it literally? No, it's not. It is. Game board manager dot board. Yeah, because it's a static thing, or a constant, which, you know, means I don't have to actually pass like an instance of this. Yeah, screw it. We'll just do it that way then. Okay, and I think this is gonna work the way we want to. We have this other version here, but we're not gonna do that. Maybe actually have like a legacy version. I don't know. We're going to implement the thing I wanted to do, which is going to be carving out the all hazards thing. So I think what we're going to do is we have all hazards, and we're initializing everything like that, and that's fine. Level 1, we're going to do, in fact, we can even simplify this a little bit more. And why are you mad? Oh, okay, I think we need a... no, we're not using system numerics. We're using Unity engine. And then you are expecting stuff. I'm not sure why you're mad. Can I have non-static method? Oh, because it's a static class. Yeah, I defined that as a static class. That's why it's mad. Okay, cool. So we have this. So I think for our... let's call this a carve-out method. we have to define a few things, because it's not enough just to have this. We also want to have a number of lines or paths, path count, that's going to be carved out of this environment here. So I'm thinking that we have our path count, we do our all hazards thing, passive model for that. So we are for sure have this the way we want to. Of course, I keep forgetting when you use ref, you have to specify ref. And then we can do our iteration through path counts. So we have path count. Did I do something dumb up there? No, I didn't. So we're going to iterate through the paths that we're going to be doing. And then for each of them, we're going to do like a line through. This is going to be terrifying, but at the same time, it's a cost we pay one time at the start of the game. So it's like, you know, it's not that big of a deal, in all honesty. We're going to be iterating through the X. And X is going to be, you know, honestly, it'll be better, I think, as far as memory is concerned, to actually iterate through the X range, and then we apply this path, the iteration through the path counts here. I think that should be actually better. And then we're going to be dealing with, let's have this little preamble for ourselves. X is less than width X plus plus. So we're gonna be walking through slices. And then what are we to do? We're gonna have to have a counter. So I think I might make an array of like, I don't know, steps, which is kind of indicating precisely at what, it's gonna be like a size path count. We can do new, or we could do stack alloc. We could be fancy like that. We could be fancy. Why not? Why are you mad at me? What seems to be the issue? Oh wait, I'm dumb. When you use a span, you have to actually do int. Yeah, there we go. So this is going to contain what, or actually it's going to be like a table of like previous index. So we need to have like a starting seed for the number of paths, right? So let me kind of explain what's going on here. What's going on here, guys? What's going on, Omaz? Yeah, sorry for being a little not super reading chat. I'm just kind of getting in here. What am I watching right now? You're just watching the coding, man. I'm using C#. Thank you, Zero. Any pen testing experience? But if you do, you should try out Grey Hack. Fun game, great way to practice hacking. I never really done pen testing. It'll be cool. It's good to. I'll keep that in mind, Jade. Yeah. Thank you, man. I'm glad you dig the computer. McKinley. Done with the game. Get this straight now. ID. I'm using. So here's a general thing, guys. For general questions, there's a lot of things that's probably in here. Amen, brother. Jesus indeed does love me. And all of you. And then as far as your question for IDE, I think I have a general one for that. And then we have some general stuff like system, keyboard, CRT. So that's all the general stuff, man. As far as the game, it may have broken it. Let's see real quick if it is indeed In fact, I'm pretty sure it's broken, but we'll deal with that later. So you have level generators, and then we have these functions for actually placing objects, which seems very misplaced. Not to sound corny, but I feel like this actually still belongs in Game Board Manager, because that seems more in line with its responsibilities and roles. Yeah. So this is fine here. Level generators place object on board. No, that's not gonna be part of there anymore. Now it's just part of this general class, and then since the API has changed, we're no longer doing this, but rather, actually, the API hasn't changed very much. Instead, we're just doing ref and then model, and that should be enough to generate stuff. So you might have like a different thing for the levels, like if it's a snow level, this level, whatever, we're gonna have a different generator probably happen. But it'll be as easy as like swapping it out to something else. I think the other one here though is private. Let's see here. Public static, yep. Yeah, private static, no, we need to change that. So I can change this to be this, and then we can say like, hey, we want to have 3 paths or 4 paths or whatever. So as far as what I'm doing here, I'm making a simple, hopefully simple algorithm or just utility function that will allow me. The game basically has like this huge grid that's going to contain objects in it, right? And by default, I'm making everything, the entire level a hazard. But then I'm going to carve out little paths for the player to go through. So everything is initially a hazard, and then we're making an algorithm that will carve a path out procedurally to ensure that the player, you know, can actually get to the end of the level. And the path count thing is that I don't want this to be just a linear adventure. Yeah, this path count function. So we're making a thing where we can say, hey, we want to actually have 3 paths here. So we'd have one per iteration. We'd have like potentially 3 different paths working, and they may intertwine, they may connect, they may even converge to be the same path and then split off into different places. Either way, it's going to ensure that there's like multiple paths the player can go through on this like cylinder grid. And that's the general idea. There's gonna be more to it too, like placing different things like pickups or enemies or whatever. Right now this is like the worst case scenario I was testing for the culling, where we just say, hey, what if the entire game is just this, and I turned off all collision for the player so they're not constantly dying. So instead of like a wall of this stuff, you'd actually see holes peeking in through here. I need to expand this too. I'm pretty sure I expanded it, but it's not quite working, so I need to change that. But I'm pretty happy that the X part is working good. And this game takes place on a cylinder, so even though it's a 2D grid, it's wrapped around this cylinder, which is I think it's pretty cool. I think it's pretty nice. Though interesting that the FPS dips to 74. That's not great. But I think it's because we also increased the range. Or I don't know, actually. I wonder what the change, because before we were consistently at 100 something plus. So I have to see what might be affecting that. If it's just the board size expansion, or if it's like something else I did. Either way, that's the general idea that we have going on here. And then at some point too, I want to do another stream. Also, what's going on, Pepsi Man and Psy Guy. So the other thing I want to do, and we talked about this in the Discord. I want to make a Discord game bot where like also we have some new friends here. Welcome, you guys. Nihilus, Tetrix. I have you guys here. it was an idea that Morgan brought up yesterday, but I want to make a Discord RPG like MMO where basically I'm gonna have this. I'm gonna use my engine for this as well, but basically we'd print out using emoji. These are all emotes on Discord, printing out the entire state of the game, and the bot's only gonna update every like couple of seconds, and everyone in the Discord can like cue their actions for what they're gonna do in the whole game world. And if there's actions queued, the bot's gonna update the state of the world, and it's gonna redraw everything, and you're gonna see what your player did and then what happened as a result. Did you attack something? Did you move to the square? Whatever, right? I'm also thinking about how we're gonna have like personal homes maybe. So this is like an initial just test of just how this looks formatted out, but I think we're gonna switch this at some point, and it might be cool to do this in the StreamWorld engine as well, so that we can have, or in the StreamWorld overlay thing, so that on stream you can even see the state of the Discord in the corner somewhere. I think that'd be pretty cool. Anyways, so yeah, but now we're doing the path generation thing, and maybe I'm being a little too fast in terms of how I'm implementing it, but I think it's worth I think it is worth just trying it out. Maybe I'll just simplify it out. Maybe we can even add more properties later on. Like, how crazy are the paths? Can they take like 90-degree angles? Maybe use a different means of generation. But yeah, and maybe make this default to one path. Actually, I don't know. Let's test with one for sure. We have to set some kind of initial seed for each one of them. So maybe I think it's fine if we allow collisions as well. It's not like a hash table or something where you can't have key collisions. I think here it's totally fine if we have key collisions. But not only are we going to have the previous index, maybe actually that might be all we need to have here. I was going to do like a velocity thing, but maybe we don't. Maybe we just have this and then calculate the delta from that and then use that to determine what we do next. Cool. Actually, what am I doing? I could just yoink this. And then we can do I'm sorry, what? Oh, it's random and then I know there's a random range in Unity. I know I have my random selection utility, but I don't think I have. Yeah, I only have. That's for choosing between a collection. We're not doing that. I know there's a random. Unity has like a. Am I dumb? You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna go to. We're gonna go to the selection, random selection, because I know for a fact we use random at least here. Yeah, it's a random range. So what do we use for this? Unity engine, not random. Okay, cool. Yeah, we're not using that. Cool, and then we're gonna do random. Oh my goodness. Range, it's gonna be 0 to 0 to height, I believe. Nope. Now, is random inclusive or exclusive on the upper bounds? I think it's inclusive. So we might have to do max exclusive. Never mind, we're good actually. So we can just pass in height. Perfect. So we do this, we have our initial seed, and then we don't have to start at 0. Actually, I think we do, I could mark them here. I have the pass be calculated there, but we'll do the pass later. So we have this last value equals, again, so we have the last value here, and then we're going to calculate a direction. So this time it's going to be either -1, a value from -1 to 1. Though it's exclusive, so I think I have to make this 2, if I'm not mistaken. Or we could just do this and then do math f dot round. To int. Whatever, we'll deal with this in a second. We're gonna do a swap of, actually let's do this here. New index is gonna be equal to last value plus direction, and then I think what we need to do is have like a clamp between the value here and then our upper and lower bounds, which we need to specify up here actually. We didn't do that. So we have our min index into our buffer, and then we have to have a max index as well. And min index is going to be equal to, I think, x times height, and then max index is going to be equal to x. Okay, I have to do this for myself. I need to visualize this properly. So let's get rid of these eggshells. Oh, I can't get rid of them, can I? Darn you, Dinkelberg. Okay, whatever. We have our array. Let's make a 3 by 3 just for simplicity, so I can, my small brain can grab it, right? So we want to iterate through each column, right? So the minimum index we did is, let's say, if this is height and this is width, and we're iterating through everything here, so it's like 0 to 9 or 0 to 8. We did for the starting index is going to be height times Am I iterating through x? Yeah, we're iterating through the column count, right? So that's what the x is, so the column count. So yeah, so it's going to be c times height. So in this case, 3 times, or 0, because we're starting at 0, times h is 0, so that's going to give us the correct index. Perfect. All right. Now the upper bound is where we get a little fuzzy. I think it's going to be the same exact thing as, it's going to be starting index plus height minus 1, I believe. So in this case, if it's 0 and we do height minus 1, height is 3, minus 1 is 2, and that would be the correct index. Cool. So it's going to be min index plus height minus 1. And I believe that should give us the correct range we want here. And then from there, we can do our clamp between min index and max index. Sweet. I'm actually really happy. I'm very happy with this so far. This seems to make sense to me. So we have our new index. Now we have to do the final operation before this one reassign new index to the previous index, which is going to be marking this space in the buffer or the model. So we have to actually get this, in fact, we should make this like a general, no, actually we were calculating the actual index, so we can actually just use new index and then equals entity, and then what do we have here? We have this generic one that creates the type, position, whatever, is it alive? Oh, I guess we have to actually keep track of the position as well. So that's another thing we have to do. But let's make a static free space. It's going to return an entity. And then what you're going to require is not type, but simply just the vector2 position. We're going to yoink this. Okay, it's going to be return. I believe we just do, that's like the correct syntax. It's just that now we're going to do e entity type, and it's going to be hazards going. Is there no entity type for just a free space? Oh, because it doesn't matter because we're marking it as alive, so this doesn't actually matter. Interesting. I mean, I think I'd like to still have a free space just to be extra safe. But this being defined as free is based off of this being marked as false. And then, does that still require? What's going on here? Or are you mad at me? Do you actually want me to use the constructor here? Can I not just do... I know I've done this. You can't lie to me. Okay, no. This is not TypeScript land or whatever. Okay. I'm lost. I'm wrong. And I don't even know it. I'll have to specify the entity type. Okay, that's it. We're good. We're back out. We're not lost anymore. Okay, so we have a thing for generating a free space. Perfect. Honestly, I just kind of like make a thing for... We're good. So we can go back here, and then we can do entity.freespace, and then all we have to do is provide the x coordinate. The bad thing is that we don't have, because we're not iterating through the x and y coordinate. We're not using 2D coordinates. Or actually, maybe we can easily derive it because this is the x coordinate. So this is just going to be x, and then what we're going to do to get the y is going to be we have min and max range. We have the new index that we've found for ourselves. We can subtract the min index from this. And then what we can do is divide it by height. I believe that should produce, you know what? None of this business. You are going to produce a new vector2 for me in here. And that's going to be good. That's just going to be good. Cool. Now this is fine, but we need to specify the width as well for each of these paths, because it's not enough just to have one index. That's gonna be way too small on the board. So I think we need to specify some kind of just general width. Maybe that could be a thing we provide in the arguments. For right now though, I'm gonna just do, and it's gonna be like, I don't know, maybe 3 plus or minus 3 or 4 indices. I don't know. Or maybe even bigger, like 32. Now that's going to be another thing. This has the potential of being terrible, but at least it's going to be terrible for like 1 frame, I think. This is width, so it's basically path. Let's say like path diameter, not radius, diameter. in terms of indices. So we can have this be like, yo, dog. We have all the data we need to construct the things we need to construct. Now we just have to, I don't know, iterate through the width. I'm running out of. Whenever you do nest, like, I get scared when I start seeing nested objects, nested loops, but we're just gonna do a performance test on this and see how bad it is. We're iterating through range of path width or diameter. All right, let me catch up in chat because I've been very bad at catching up and saying stuff here, guys. I had chocolate milk today. Let's go, Mastercrafter. Need motivation. Let's go, Isopods. Let's get motivated, guys. Call my friend. Good luck. See you next time. You have a go inside, guy. Let's say I want to learn. I get documentation I need to memorize before I can start. I think just start and then you go to documentation as need be. Is not good. It's not good, Abios, but here's the thing, right? Let's see how bad it performs. Let's see how much the actual cost of performance is. Like, my general thing is, I think it's a lot of times, maybe not all the times, depending on the cost of like production or development time, but I think there's value in implementing things in a naive fashion first, and then allow the results of reality dictate, do we need to optimize? And if we do need to optimize, how much do we need to optimize? And then it's cool because if you start with a naive approach and you measure it, you have a baseline to compare future changes to. Whereas if I were to just implement an optimization out the box without any checks or measurements from reality, you don't know where you stand in terms of your optimization. All you know is how things change as you make changes to it, but you don't know where it stands in terms of its absolute value. So, yeah, nested for loops, not great, but there's times where you're out. But first of all, that's just the implementation I have in mind now, and if there's a need for changes, we'll do that later when the time comes. But yeah, we'll see though. And it's also like, it doesn't scale, like the iterations, I don't know, we'll see. You have different performance that happen depending on actual counts. Some of these iterations are fixed length ones, and they're not scaling with like the element count. The outer one is the biggest one that does, but let's see. I'm not gonna be one of those people who treat any constant time thing as like, it's constant time, so it doesn't really count, because you're just focused on O of n. I like being more focused on reality, and we're gonna see how bad this looks. So we have int j equals 0, int j path parameter diameter. This is gonna be the general diameter we want to go to. We have to iterate from this. I think what we're gonna do is this all has to be relative to. This all has to be relative to. No, I'm trying to navigate upwards. This all has to be. Maybe I should just make this a radius. This has to be a radius, I think. And then what I'm going to do is, instead of iterating from 0 to radius, we're going to iterate from negative path radius to positive path radius. So int j equals negative path radius, and then j until j is less than or greater than path radius. And then all we're going to do is have. We're going to still leave this new index here. But it's going to go through the range, so we don't have to do that discretely. What we're going to do here is going to be final index equals negative, or it's going to be equal to j plus new index. So it's going to offset from the new index, and after that we're going to use final index. Oh my goodness, please. Work with me. And then we have to recalculate y, because the y for this is not going to be the same. It's going to be very similar though, but call it brush y or something. And then instead of new index, we're actually going to use final index here. And that should be good. In fact, maybe I should just call it final y or f. Yeah, because the x is going to be the same. We're iterating across the column, so the x is always going to be the same. Cool. So I think this does the carving. This does not address a couple things, though. It doesn't address wrapping around. In fact, maybe we should have done math wrap, which means that at the seams, you could tell where there's seams in the game. We'll deal with that in a bit. Let's just see if this works. And as far as this is concerned, we also have to catch the cases where, again, final index is out of range, which is not good. We don't want to have that. So of course we have to do a math f clamp. And then we're going to go from min index to max index. This might be something that needs to be turned into a job, if I'm going to be honest with you. I think there's a bunch of things that can be turned into a job in this game, but we'll see. Let me catch up, guys. 1 second. What's going on here? What's going on, guys? So you're telling me a random guy invented this way of creating programs? Nah, man. I'm just a dude, man. I'm just a guy. Show demo? Yeah, sure. Let's well, we're gonna find out. Let's actually see if this even works. So let's trigger re-import and then go from there. Anuska! It is good. It's been so long. It's been so long. Good to see you. But man, all right, let's see how this even. Am I using the? Let me see which one I'm using. You know what I need to do? Because this is not. I'm not gonna be able to. This is humongous. Okay, so this is not gonna work for my purposes. We actually have to. I think what we need to do is make a texture, and then have a thing to convert this to a texture, just for debugging purposes. Like just see the state of the map and then go from there. Yeah, I think we need. We should have like a 2D model to texture, and given we're going to create a new texture of some sort. Actually, we're going to do this. Okay, and then what we're going to do is that we're going to... What are we going to do? We're going to make a new texture 2D equals new. And then we're going to provide width, height, and then... we're going to do things terribly, but this is meant for debugging purposes, so whatever. And of course, we're going to have to do texture.apply. I always forget to do that. And I think I'm crazy. But I'm not crazy. I'm just a little forgetful sometimes. Int x. How are we going to do this? I need to go on monkey type, guys. I need to hang up the keyboard. And I need to just get good. Okay, let's see if I still remember how to. Plus Y in this case? Because Y is the offset. Yeah, I think this should be good actually. And then texture.set pixel. What? Set pixel at X, Y, and then you have to choose color, don't we? We'll be lazy and do like a ternary operator. You can get entity at this slot and be like model index. What's going on here though? I'm sorry, did you just call AI Asian intelligence? Oh man. Yeah, environmental factors are not great. Yep, C# on Linux, Draco. Draco? We have another Draco. That's crazy. Sounds like ASMR. It's kind of like that. Yeah, I'm using Linux, Ubuntu. Nothing crazy. And I use Mint to my other machine. We're gonna do, if it's free, actually no, we're gonna just do something even simpler, is alive. So if it's alive, we're gonna mark it as, I don't know, color white. Otherwise, yeah, whatever. I'm not gonna think too hard about it. So we set the pixels there, we apply it, and then we return the texture. And I think what we're gonna do to make debugging easier is just have like a, what we're gonna do is have a, where is it? Here we go. Raw image level, and we have to actually level state. And then once we generate our level here, model to texture, ref, model, and then what we're gonna do is boop, 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 boop. That debug, or what did I call it? I just named it and I already forgot it. What did I name you? Level state. That's dumb. We've been referring to this as model the entire time because it's not. I guess a model is tied to level. I don't know. It's kind of the same thing in a weird way. Dot texture. Main texture. I don't know which one to use. I think they're gonna be the same. No, it's not. Cool. Or maybe do I have to do material? No, don't compile Unity. I don't want to compile right now. Yeah, it has like material too, right? And then main texture. If you're using that, I don't know what to do here. I'm just kind of all kinds of confused. We're just gonna use texture and call it a day. Cool, and then let's go into Unity. My least favorite part, and actually interact with the UI here. It's not the end of the world. It's just it feels like it. Maybe not, but I just like okay, here we go. You're gonna be our model state. You're gonna be moved up here. You are gonna be not this texture. You're gonna be unassigned, and it's the field's called texture, which gives me hope that things are actually gonna be fine. We're gonna move this here. We're gonna make it bigger because I'm assuming this should actually be quite large. I think there's gonna be quite a lot of things there. Cool. Save it, and then we need to set the reference as well, and then hopefully this just works, dog. Hopefully there's like nothing to worry about. Things just work exactly as I planned and intended. First time, first try, no weird issues. We're just gonna be happy, man, and you know, I'm gonna settle down. Life is gonna be good, and you have an index out of range. Dang it! I could have had a farm with a family, but no. We got an index out of range exception, out of bounds of the array. The barn's on fire. The family never existed, and I'm just crazy. Okay, so we did something wrong here. Oh, because we're iterating across width, not height. Okay, that's a simple thing. That's actually simple. That's simple. We're actually good, dog. We're actually good. Okay, this is for real. I'm not a gambler. I would never go to a casino. But honestly, every time I hit compile and run is where I start feeling kind of like an addict. Okay. That is not great. We have a line and no exceptions. So, what? The thing is that because this is random, there is a case where that can be used. Oh, 1 second. We don't use. Oh, we did something. Did we do something? I think I did. I think I did a boo boo. Because we do J plus this, which is going to calculate. Like this is the offset. That's like this is like the new index. And we need to divide it by height, I think. I think that is the math. No, but we do that. Okay, we. Okay, let's just run it. Let's just say maybe the stars aligned and we had the one particular random RNG where like all three things were straight. No, never. Just kidding. Okay, let me try something else. Let me reduce this path radius to like 1, and I'm curious as to what the individual lines are gonna look like. Let's see here. And they're not apparent at all. Oh, brother. Oh, brother. So I'm a lost child in the forest right now. I'm a lost child in the forest of my own creation. He's busy with mind control. Let's work on a game, Pedro. But yeah, sounds cool. Yeah. Hey, you know, sometimes I don't even know what I'm talking about, but I think if you fake it, you eventually make it, right? And that's kind of what I'm doing here. That's what it feels like a lot. So we have index x times height. That is correct. Plus y. That is also correct since we're iterating across the indices. We get the model from index. Like, I think this is actually perfectly fine. I don't think the issue lies with my implementation here. I think it's in my actual little algorithm, if you will. We start with an initial previous index. And then what happens here? Last value equals previous index, direction. And then we use new index. Math clamp, last value. Let's just use better naming. Times direction, which direction could be either negative. The only thing I think happening is maybe this is not ever reaching 1. Round to it should cover it, because if it's exclusive to 1, then it would get to like 0.9 something, but never quite 1. It could get to like 0.99999, but not 1. Which is why I was hoping round to int would solve that, but maybe let's just mess around. Let's just change that to 2 and see what happens. See if something else changes. So we iterate through x, through the width. We iterate through each path. They're going to do their particular change. And then we iterate through the radius centered on path. And we have last, previous index, direction. Maybe the cycle has to skip the first iteration. Like maybe we do the first iteration somewhere else. Like maybe I should extract this into a function and then like inline it. And then that way we can simply call it for the first iteration when we generate the first starting indices. Or we can just catch it here as well and just do another if. We have previous index equals I equals new index. Okay. I think we're gonna end up having to make like a velocity. Right. There's no point in doing a span if I'm gonna be real with you guys. Like there is, but like for maybe, and actually no, I might have like a lot of counts. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe that's actually perfectly fine and reasonable. Path velocities. Something else we would calculate so we can have bias be introduced at this level here, but we're not going to do that yet. We're calculating y, but that's no longer needed. Previous index equals new index. Yeah, that was this was needed because we're gonna calculate and create the entity instance here, but we already do that, so that's not actually necessary. In which case we can just make this actually just be y for simplicity, because we're gonna be iterating through range. Let's make this slightly bigger, like 2, and then see what gets generated here. Now I'm using Linux rationale. Yeah, thank you, Jose. It's a good combo, I like it. And the bottom line is just completely, like, just blanked out. Interesting. You know what I'll do? Let's do a test to make sure that my texture generation is actually working correctly. Let's do a test. I'm going to do something very simple before we get even further into this. We have this path gen. Let's just make a line gen. Like a diagonal line. That's super easy to do. All we do we're going to preface this with like a debug diag. None of this line count business. None of these previous index stuff. None of this. All we're going to do is iterate. Yeah, on both axes. Not path count. We're going to iterate on height. And then if y equals x, what we're going to do, we're going to mark it to be this is such a common thing. I need to just make this a function at this point. Given an x and y, calculating the index. I don't have to keep remembering the math for that, because every time, the more I type it, the more I'm probably gonna mess something up, and then it's gonna be bad. but I'm pretty sure I have it up here in the buffer, in this guy here. Yeah. Call it maybe 2 index. We can do this vector 2. Actually, no, because we're not using a vector 2. We're using like x and y. And then height is simply going to be game board manager.height. Whatever. No need to have this. We can just return. And then here, what did I call it? Is it not just 2 index? Or did I call it just index? Okay. Nope. That's the wrong one. Wrong class. Okay, what did I call it? It is called 2 index. Oh, it has to be static, that's why. Cool. So instead of calling pathgen, we're gonna call debug diag and see if it produces what we expect it to. And then if it doesn't, it means it's an issue in the way I'm generating the texture. If it does, then it means there's an issue in the algorithm, or maybe it's just both. Maybe there's issues at both levels. Oh, yay. Yay. Okay, cool. So, yeah. We're still in the same spot. I wonder, actually, one second. Let me make sure this is applying the correct thing as well. Is there any way to see this? I want to make sure this is not, yeah, let me actually, let me do something. Because I think to get a copy on the CPU side, I think you have to enable, like, read-write or something. I don't know, maybe there's something weird that I got going on here. Let's see. Okay, here. So you have texture. What else is there to define? There's graphics formats. But I think for to be able to look at it more, you have to enable is readable. No, that's a property, I think. That's a read-only property. I can't just set it to true. Yeah, it's not gonna like that. What is it? There's like something I could set. There's like a flag somewhere. Let me search this up. Texture, writable. Yeah, just writable. Let's see what that produces. So, what do you have for me? Easy way to make textures is readable true by script. That's exactly what I want. Thank you, sir. What do you have for me? Hopefully something good. It's probably some simple thing that I'm neglecting. That's a question, I believe. Read pixels. Where is it? That's for render texture. I'm not looking for render texture. I know there's like a way, there's like a simple field you can like enable to make it right. Texture 2D array, no. Enable random write? Is that? No. Or maybe there's like a constructor. Or initially, like there's something, I know for a fact there's something like that. What's going on, guys? Hobby, it's definitely fun. Joss. It's superb, it's fun. If you want to have really Fallout 4, you can turn on green mode on this monitor. You can turn on green mode and it's like, alright, now we're actually just in Fallout. And now we're just in Fallout mood right now. Actually, I feel almost tempted to kind of keep it like this, if I'm gonna be real with you. I was searching for information. I was looking for the scrolls of knowledge. And these are not what I'm looking for. Do I have to just go into my... You know, I'm gonna go to another project. I have another project that I know for a fact I do this in. It's in Cozy Cabin Games. It's in Messy Mansion, Messy Mansion, Messy Mansion, Assets, Features, Chaos Dust. I think it's a Dust Manager? Let's see here. What do you have for me? Or do we create... So we have a texture 2D for the dirt map, yep. So far so good. You have the object pooling stuff. Okay, I'm gonna turn off the green mode. It's a little bit odd for me. What do we do? Let's search by new. It's new vector. Is that the only instance of new here? What? I'm sorry, what? This is the dust manager, is it not? So it happened either at awake. We load a blank. Oh, I load a blank one? Because I know in the inspector you can do that, but... So I'm not constructing it here. Oh, that's mildly disappointing. Okay, where else might I have done this? Or did I just give up and say, hey, we're just gonna load this texture from resources and just set there? I know for a fact. I think for some of the screen space shaders, I don't even remember. Okay, you know what? More Googling. Unity construct texture 2D writable or readable, I think should also have the same. I feel like I'm going, I know for a fact I've done this before. Via scripts. Thank you. Stack Overflow, my beloved. Don't let me down, buddy. 2 ways to do this. One, use a render texture. Put the source texture into render texture with graphic split, then use texture 2D read pixels to read the image from the render texture into the new texture 2D. No. Okay, no, this is for loading though. I'm not doing that. Come on. Don't let me down, forums. I know for like the shadow, the screen space effects, we do something with this with the render textures and then draw to it, but it's either that or I'm gonna have to like look through some long parameter to find what I'm looking for. Like some humongous, like we have a bunch of overloads here. Actually maybe not that much. There's stuff for the mip maps. Ignore mip, linear map, mip count. Create uninitialized. texture format, map, texture creation flags. That is interesting. So this one's would require what flags exist there. Texture creation flags. Is there potentially a flag that makes me happy? If not, then I'm just enable random read write. This is for a for render texture. Okay. But then this also supports it. Or is that a different? Are you gonna do this to me? Because this way I can't just throw a render texture. Can I just throw a render texture onto? Let me change this real quick. Go to its usage. Nope, you're not mad about that. So maybe that's just what I need to do. Then it'd be like a, actually even if it's just this, I need to specify the graphics formats. We'll just do something simple. Where is it? Side float. Yeah. I'll just type it. R RGBA It doesn't really matter, honestly, but actually, no, it does matter, but like for my application, I don't have to be picky about the size. Oh. R8. Unsigned float. It feels like there's so many more options. Dude, why am I having analysis paralysis with this? Graphics, what? That's a required thing though, right? It's gonna be unhappy with me if I don't specify that. What's going on here, guys? Dr. Lobster Pepster. Wait, what? Actually, Coke would be better with lobster. Adds dimension and otherworldly. Wait, you guys don't boil your lobsters in Coke? Oh, this is depth. Yeah, you don't need that. And then no, there's a enable random write true. Okay. If I do this, will everyone be happier? No, because then I can't just set, because it requires to be rendered. Oh my goodness. You're tearing me apart, Lisa. You're tearing me apart. No, but we did, you know what? What we're gonna do, I know where we did this. And this is like early in our project, I think. Because I know for, we had to write everything to a texture and then chuck it into the GPU. And we did I think we did some modifications off of that. Let me go to the repository and actually roll things back a bit. J. What's a commit that I think should have this? Where is a commit that has this? Fixed movement, application flow. Okay, so here we're adding the row highlight, which is, I believe, what does that. And if I go through the diff, that's the shader we added, yep. Game board manager, yep. Okay, and here we have the texture, board state. We set the filter mode. What else happens here? And what is it? Yeah, it's a texture 2D board state. Yep, and filter mode equals point, and then I know we do some modifications on it. Yeah, here we initialize or set some properties on it. Maybe I just gaslit myself. Maybe it was fine actually the way I was doing things. Maybe I didn't actually have to worry about this. In fact, no, I'm being dumb because I know for a fact we were applying changes. So that was like a whole dumb little side quest for no reason. Because that's weird because we did get some value changes before, so that means that height, am I doing things correctly? Index times height, that's why, yeah. I'll produce the correct index. In fact, we can solidify this to be like to index and use that function so everything's together there. We set pixel, and I'm assuming this is X and Y, yeah, and the color, okay. So I don't think the issue is here then, actually. Then that's weird then, because like why would our dialog or diag method not work? So height. We iterate through everything. We only decide to change a space where everything is like oh, let's make this point null filter as well. That's another thing I need to do. How did I do it over here? What was the code I did? Filter mode. Filter mode point. I don't think, maybe the detail would get lost with interpolation, but no, you'd still see some weird offsets and blemishes that occur. But then again, oh, you know what, too? This is humongous. The state of the board is humongous. So with how small it is, I wouldn't be surprised if the detail's being lost, even, because we're just setting one specific pixel. But like, I could very well be, in fact, I'm just gonna make this humongous here, play it. We're not gonna see it in the game screen, but at least in the Unity scene editor, I can actually zoom in to get more additional information that might be slipping in between the fragment, the fragments. Let's see here. Recompile. Reloading domain, then you're gonna do your thing. Okay, let's see here. You can't even forward tune. Now that's rough, buddy, man. Okay, so we have this here. Are we? Okay, look at that. So we are having the diagonal. So our drawing is correct. Look at that. It was just so small, we're losing the detail in the image the way it was before. That is actually very, very helpful. Okay, perfect. Where is, there we go. So let's actually go back then to here. Go back to our path gen. Let's set this radius to be a bit larger so we can actually see. Yeah, 8 should be fine. I'm hoping. Large enough to see the individual paths. It was all aligned to the bottom though. It almost makes you feel like everything's just going low and not ever going back up. Which is why it's like all hugging the bottom of the frame. Let's see though. Let's see how this looks. Good night, Joss. You have a good one. Good night, Baku. You got rubber ducking? Yeah, I mean, that's kind of partly what helps with streaming is that I kind of dictate and explain my thought process. It's not helpful just for you guys, but it's actually helpful for me. There's something about externalizing stuff that just makes it much more real. Yeah, it's like everything's hugging the bottom here. It's very strange. Actually, something also weird with the diagonal is that it went from here to there, but the texture, it should like stretch to the entirety of the texture, should it not? Oh, because there's padding happening. Oh, there's a humongous amount of padding that's happening on the texture. Because the texture has to be a power of 2, but our buffer is not a power of 2. Oh. So, okay. What does that mean for us then? Because maybe what I do is have, because I'll need to have some kind of clear way of knowing what is the actual data and then what is, oops, I think I added something I didn't want to edit. So you know what we're gonna do? We know width is the biggest thing. So instead of iterating between width, we're gonna iterate, or through the limit of height, we're gonna iterate through width. That's gonna be a square. And then if y is greater than height, then we're just gonna mark it with red and continue on our way. Actually, wrong. Yeah, wrong place to do that. It's up here, actually. Okay, and then width, or y is less than height. Or actually, no, greater than or equal to height. We're simply going to mark it as red. No ternary operator here. We simply just say color.red. And then we continue. Okay, cool. So I believe that should cover the case. So now we can actually see the proper boundaries of the image we're working with. Shortcuts? Yes, I'm using something called Vim in the actual text editor to be able to navigate. I'm also using Linux with i3, which allows me to just be really quickly, to be able to navigate my operating system crazy fast. Every time I have to go work on in Windows at work, it's kind of painful for me because I'm so used to having this perfect, beautiful workflow. And oh my goodness. Okay, we've done something critically wrong here. Critically wrong. But I'm so used to having like this beautiful workload or workflow, and then, you know, I kind of lose it. I don't get to have it when I go back to Windows land, which is tragic. Okay, we iterate through y. We say if the y value is greater than height, which is less, height is like the lower value. Let's just confirm this real quick. Yep, board width is 2000, board height is 1028, though that leads me to believe that this is also not going to have a power of 2x value, so maybe you have to do the same kind of guard statement there. Yeah, there's nothing here that's stateful, which is, this is kind of weird. If the y value is greater than height, which is like 128, then we set the color to red and then we continue. That seems reasonable to me. Otherwise, we actually get the correct entity value and then do that. It seems like every single value is greater than height. Actually, you know what? 128 versus 2000 is still very small. So actually, it might be just it might be there, but just a really small sliver. But then it would have been on the left side then, would it not? Like, is there any corner here with white, like 120 pixels of just white or black? Nope. Not seeing it. So there's clearly something's critically weird is going on here. Huh. Yeah, with 2000, yep. So the values here make sense. Our iteration range seems to make sense. X is 0. We go from X incremented all the way up to width. That makes sense. Y, we're starting from Y equals 0, as we iterate to width, which is going to be 2000, which means we're going to pass by at some point 128. We go if Y is greater than height, which is if Y is greater than 128, we set the pixel to red and then continue through the iteration. We don't like break past it. Otherwise, we set the pixel. So this should be done when, I mean, that seems dumb, but I could always try, like, this is gonna be exactly the same logic. It should shake out to be the same exact thing, but let's just try something different and see what that produces. So we have Y height, model, we have set pixel, XY, we have is alive, yep, we do the ternary operator there. And then, so if Y is less than height, we actually provide the correct values and then continue. Otherwise, we set pixel to red and then continue through the iteration. Nothing crazy. It's like, seems very simple to me what the goal is. So, and this should produce the same result. If what I had before was wrong, then in doing that logic conversion should produce the same result. From inside the loops, or is it just at the red block? It's not the only way to debug it. It's not like we're working with shaders. It's just that this is the most quick way to see what's going on here. And yeah, it's producing the same result. Producing the same result. Nothing crazy here. All the same thing. Sometimes I see a little speck, but that's usually due to artifacts from the CRT, not from the actual game. So I have to stop myself from getting prematurely excited that something's changed. So, okay. This is odd. Oh, because we didn't change. This has to be width as well. I mean, I'm not sure why that would also change it, but yeah, we have to. Okay, let's see if this changes stuff. What's going on, Overseer? I definitely know what you're typing. Sweet. You're better than me, man. I can't. Oh, is this? Are we? Oh wait, it didn't do the thing. Sometimes I don't even know what I'm typing, or sometimes I'm trying to type something and it just doesn't come out, man. Is this VS Code? No, it's not. It's Writer's Twidgy. I've been in game development, Atari for 0 years, professionally at least. But I have been programming for like 15 years. Oh, please. Yes! That was the issue. I didn't initialize width correctly. Okay, so we can actually see the state of the board. You can see how big of a difference there is between, how big of a difference there is between the fact that we're not using a power of 2 data. We can try interpolating it, but it's fine. And then we can see the little... Yeah. Now we can see everything clearly. Kind of. Kind of. We need to make this a little bit bigger so I can actually see this somewhat reasonable. Or you know what? On the game screen, I'm just gonna put this back, but we're just gonna show like the little corner of it. It's gonna be peeking from the top. Just a little peekaboo like that. Let's see how this works. Indonesian flag. What are you creating today? So I'm trying to make a level generation algorithm. Trying is the key word here. We fixed like the culling thing for the most part. It's behaving the way we want to, but broadly speaking. But yeah, this here though is odd. So we have a way of representing a bunch of objects in the world. Now we're trying to assemble them into what we want them to be, the shape we want them to be. And that's what we're looking at right now. And I believe the code we're looking at is the curve generator. Yeah, the path gen function here. We should have a bunch of different paths. I might even stretch this out even more. We can really stretch this out to get some clarity on the state of the game. Play guitar while coding. Play guitar while coding. I wouldn't even know what to play. Cozy Cabin. What's up, Mavros Bodyguard? Let's see here. So somehow we're just getting the straight line. We're iterating across width. We have this min index of x times height. Max index is min index plus height minus 1. We checked that out earlier. It seems to work. We have our path count. We iterate through the paths. We get the last index of the path, which is, our starting one. Direction, new index. Honestly, new index is going to be last index plus direction. And then we clamp it between min and max index. Value, min, max. Okay, that makes sense. There should be a value of like between -1 and 1. This I'm hoping for. Cool. And then we go from here, we iterate through the radius. So we do negative radius to positive radius, which will that would be essentially the diameter. Final index equals the clamp j. You can call this offset, because that's exactly what it is, offset. Offset plus new index. Okay, that seems reasonable to me. This is like the center point. Everything's gonna be relative to the new index. And then we're going to clamp it as well between the min index and max index of that row, because you don't want the offsets being applied to indices in previous columns or the next column. So that seems reasonable to me. And then we set y equal to final index final index minus the min index. Okay. This makes sense in my brain so far. We're getting a difference. Start from the start of the top of the column all the way to where we are at. We divide it by height, which produces... Do we not have to... We don't have to divide it by height. That's producing a normalized value. That's what... Oh, we were normalizing the value between 0 and 1 as... Well, 0, 1, which is always going to be 0 because it's an integer. Oh. Yeah, this could have just been it. Okay. Oh my goodness. All right, let's see. Let's see. Maybe, guys, maybe we're actually... Maybe I'm not a Dumbo, dude. Maybe I'm not actually a poo-poo brain. Maybe I don't got donkey brains. Let's see. Run it. Come on. Come on. Give me the money. No. No. I can't believe they've done this. It's the same. It's the same. No, no, I have donkey brains. Well, now that I have a diagnosis of donkey brain, we're gonna do some donkey brain things, and instead of fudging with code, we're gonna play around with just making things look, just move some arrows around. Call it productivity. Yeah, this is to get more data. This is for the data. Mom, I swear, this is for data purposes. Okay. Does that feel big data? That feels pretty big data. Let's run it. Come on. Let's run it. Okay, that's better. So let's actually start. Let's not ignore the problem here. So we're still at a straight line. I think we might have to bust out a breakpoint, guys, and actually use a debugger. Ooh, scary. I'm afraid that's... Wait a second. Why is this P grayed? Is this grayed out? Is this saying unreachable code? Wait. No, it's not grayed out. Just kidding. My monitors tricked me out for a second. Maybe my pixels are dying or something. Okay, no. We are actually... This is correct code. Int P was 0. We iterate through path count. P++. Last index. We have direction. Okay, I mean, this is gonna provide an offset. We can do this. We can do... There's one other thing. This is not the cause of it, I believe. I don't believe this is the cause of it, but I'm just gonna do this just to be safe. Where if x equals 0, we're gonna do something a little bit different. Honestly, I need to break this out into functions and like inline it, but we'll do that later. Where in this iteration we do, hey, actually, we don't have to do this. We don't. We simply do not have to do this. Though I wonder if the initial values is also kind of wrong somewhere else as well. But yeah, if x is greater than 0, then we actually apply the offset. Otherwise, we just say, yo, index is just going to be equal to last index. Don't think that's the issue, but that's something that was in my mind that I know we had to address at some point. Is there any other instances where we're doing that normalization by accident? What about the starting values? Do we normalize you by accident? No, we're doing random range 0 to height, which is acceptable. As far as previous index is concerned. Oh, you know what? Yo, okay. This is not correct because it's not previous index, it's previous y coordinate. That's a very big discrepancy. That's a very big difference. That's a very, very big difference. Index is absolute across the array. Y is kind of an abstraction I have on top of it for how we're going to access things across it. So, oh, that kind of changes things, actually. That realization, that's ooh. So, okay, with that newfound knowledge, this is no longer last index, this is the last Y position. So last Y position equals previous Y position, new index is this. We have last Y plus direction, and then this is always going to be, that's why it's happening, because it's always going to be below the minimum. It's going to be always clamped to the min index. What we need to do is have this last Y be offsetted to the actual current index value, or do the correction later on. In fact, you know what? We're going to just do this all at the Y position. Yeah, okay. So we have, this becomes 0, this becomes, yeah, this becomes 0, that becomes height. Okay, I'm gonna change this back to be 1, because I believe that's, in my heart of hearts, I believe that's correct. Cool. New Y equals last Y, okay, cool. And then final index is going to be, we have to do the conversion here, it's very important. Or actually, we're going to use, yeah, we're thinking about this completely different now. Because now we can calculate final, the Y position, because it's just going to be, what? New Y minus min index. We say new Y is equal to clamp last Y plus direction. Yeah, 0 to height. Yep. So we define Y, and then finally we calculate the index by doing Y plus offset plus our min index for this slice, which almost makes this min index bounds kind of redundant, because all we need to do really is do a min here to make sure it doesn't exceed the max value. Well, actually, no, never mind. It's not redundant, because Y offset might be a negative value, which is no good. So we don't want to allow for that. And then this is actually correct. This is index model final index equals empty free space XY, yeah, and then we do previous Y equals new Y. Perfect, okay. I feel confident. I feel a little bit like this time is going to be different. You know how they say when you're one more game of blackjack before hitting it big? That's how it feels like. We're one more compile and run before we get the big bucks. Before we get the correct level generation, before life is great, and okay, we got something. We got a line going downwards, but yeah, we're not. You can see the line popping up here. That's actually kind of cool. We're not getting a cool path though, which means there's like a bias towards like one direction, and it never ever comes out the other way. So let's try maybe this. Maybe it actually has to be 2. Maybe I was just being a Dumbo. Let's see. Come on. Give me a path. Give me something to write home about. Come on. Let's go! Let's go! Do you see what I'm seeing here, guys? Do you see what I'm seeing? Let's freaking go! We got a path, baby! We got a path! Let's freaking go, dude. I need to fix the culling, but hey, we got paths. Yo. Okay, and then let's up it. Let's let's make 6 paths across the board. Oh, brother. This is what I'm talking about. This is what we live for. Okay, so more things I want to do with this. I think I want to have a thing for velocity. So there's a certain amount of momentum in your offset, so that like, because the way it is, it's going to be kind of just averaging out to 0 probability and going straight. What I want to have is some curves, some big old fella curves going on around here, man. And to achieve that, we're gonna have to have a Y velocity table for this. Yeah, we're gonna have to have a Y velocity table for this, which we already conveniently have. Would you look at that? And we'd use that in our direction, where we have the general like direction, and we'd have like some kind of a lerping value between our previous offset and this current offset, and it's kind of like normalizing. That's something I want to do. But before we do anything, we gotta celebrate the dub, all right? And we celebrate the dub by just git add all commit culling and level generation, baby. Also, before I do that, let me turn on the Discord notifications so I can hear the Git updates, because that's just like a little extra dopamine for me. And commit it, push berg to master, because of course. Do we hear it? Wait for it. Let's freaking go. I'm actually so happy, dude. I am so happy. I'm so glad this is not like a multi-stream thing. It doesn't become a Brobdingnagian task. It just kind of does the thing. It just does the thing. What more could a gamer ask for? Now, if we're gonna be greedy here, here's the greedy part, right? Here's the greedy part. We have this new Y we calculate. In fact, we're gonna do something even risque. We have the old Y, last Y, we have new Y. We calculate diff between new minus final minus last Y. And then what we're gonna do is get our velocity. Velocity is going to be math f lerp new y, and we're going to get the last velocity. So we have a velocity table. Was it path velocities, I think? So we're going to get the old velocity. We're going to get the new velocity. Nope. And then we're gonna have some kind of p-value of like 0. something, right? Diff. That's what we're looking at. The difference, the current differential between the new and last. We have this lerped value for velocity. We're gonna set our old velocity to be our lerped value, and then math round to math round to int, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna do new y equals last y plus velocity. And then this P value is going to dictate how much it continues its momentum forward, and how much it dissuades other things. Okay. So we have this. Okay, and then we're gonna have some kind of integer constant here, or float constants. Which is gonna be like damp, or like what are we gonna call this? It's kind of like no, I don't even, momentum, whatever, or just call it P, whatever. P equals 0. I said 1. Oh, that's a taken thing. Velocity P. Let's just test this out, see how this works. I know we're being greedy right now, but my brain, I don't think it's that much work to implement this. So let's just see how this works, let it compile, and then either we have much more purposeful curves with less noise on it, or we've critically break things and it's just terrible. It's either just terrible. Okay, it's actually terrible. It's just terrible. All right. Now, let's see. Is it a factor? Is issue my implementation or the velocity I set? Let's say like a higher p-value of like 0.8. So it's much more agreeable to change. It's just that it's you know, it's more responsive to change. It doesn't require that much same hits. Okay. So the p-value does have some kind of impact on it. I'm not seeing the bigger curves. Let's try doing 0.5. Nah, we don't do no AI in this channel. We don't really do that here. Yeah, so 0.5 is for things. Okay, I think the issue is that we're storing our velocities as floats, so we're losing some precision here. So this is not going to work out the way I want it to, which is unfortunate. But hey, this is not bad. I think if we change this to be from a span of ints to be floats instead, this would be, we'd have maintained some level of precision. I think the initial value also has a big importance on this as well. Which, I don't know, let's say we have this previous value of y. Do you want to set a random velocity as well while we're at it? Like it could be like the seed we need to, I mean, that'd be crazy. This would be crazy. Okay, so we're gonna do, and then 2 as well. Now that we're dealing with floats here, I almost want to make everything floats, but then we're gonna have to do a bunch of different. We have to wrap everything into like a round to int, because we're not gonna be casting to int is not gonna round it the way we want it to be rounded. Yeah, it's my actual monitor. I use it daily. The only thing I don't use it for is work, but hey, that's all right. Gotta have something different, man. Yeah, I do this stream kind of regularly. Usually I do like Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. That's kind of my loose schedule for streaming. There's the keyboard. C# on a block monitor. That's cozy. Yeah, I mean C#. Yeah, you got it. C#. One day I'll be able to escape to my my game engine project that we have here in C++ world, and you know, be free. But for now, I need to wrap this project. I need to finish the game in Unity before I jump to my engine. We'll be free one day, though. What I'm making a game in 3. I'm doing this game in 3 weeks project. It's probably gonna become a 4-week per game. But yeah, it's just, this is the game. Let me show you how it looks. It's gonna be for mobile and everything, and then Linux, maybe Windows. And yeah, I don't want to monetize this channel at all whatsoever. At least that's how I feel right now. This is something I do for fun and the joy of it. So if there's any monetization, it'll probably be in the games I sell. I'll probably sell them for like 50 cents or like $1. Nothing crazy. I'm not trying to make a living off this, but instead of like being like, hey, because I don't like getting money for I don't know, it's something, I don't want to put ads on people, though YouTube's going to do that anyways. And likewise, oh, that's cool. And likewise, kind of soliciting money is, I don't know. I feel like if people give me money for something, it should be for some kind of good and or service. So, I think that'd be like the only thing I do. But I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, I'm probably it's gonna be Android, and then maybe itch.io, maybe Steam as well. I'm not sure how much appeal there would be for like a desktop version of this, but hey, I have the means to do it. Why not? For the one person who might be down to play this kind of racing game. I mean, to be honest, this game is partially for my niece, because she plays the original version of this game. This is a remake of another game I did a long time ago on Newgrounds, and that was like 5 years ago. So, you know, time has passed, and I kind of wanted to remake this game within a similar time span as this one. This one took about a month for me to make in Game Maker. So I kind of want to remake. I'm trying to like have the same kind of enforcement of like constraints, and see how the time difference has kind of changed my abilities and what I can create. So yeah, I wanted to do 3 weeks to extra flex on myself, but I think I was a little ambitious with what we're doing, so we instead have 4 weeks, which is fine. We can deal with that. But yeah. Casey Neistat said the same thing, and then he flipped on it and make like a 600K one of the first months. I think most people that watch YouTube pay for premium don't see ads. Yeah, that's a thing. There's the premium users, and then there's also I don't know. That's why I'm not saying anything's hard, because like I say that now, but you know, I don't know, that's just how I feel right now. My day job is good to me. I enjoy my day job, and you know, I enjoy having this be something I do for fun. But you know, I like to do some more cool stuff in the Discord, and some of that stuff might be a bit more pricey. Especially if I go with that Discord RPG server thing, that's gonna be maybe not that pricey, but still, it'll be nice if the Cozy Cabin Games account was not negative, or at least absolutely negative. Whatever. I'm happy with this game though, dude. I'm super happy with what. Dude, we have level generation, dude. This is so freaking cool, man. This is so freaking cool. I'm like so happy. I'm not gonna lie, halfway through this, I felt super aimless because I wasn't sure if we're gonna be able to make anything that feels good in this game, but lo and behold, day 19 of 21, and things are starting to come together. We're starting to clutch it out. We're starting to clutch it out. I'm excited, man. Now we need to fix the culling thing. That's a non-negotiable. We need that. And things cannot just fail randomly. That is not acceptable whatsoever. So that is a thing we're gonna have to do. We'll deal with that. We'll deal with that when the time comes. Where is this path taking me? Where do you want me to go? Not through there. Better not be through there. If it's not through there, then no, not down here. Okay, I think I might have to activate the I should make like a mini map just for debugging purposes to see like what is the disparity between what I've generated and what I'm actually experiencing in the game, to validate that like components are behaving the way they're supposed to be. That's kind of important. That's like slightly important that there's like 1-1 parity, because there should not be like a hole like this. Unless I had things twisted. That could always be the case as well. Where like we actually inverted everything, so the paths are actually lines, and then the places that are supposed to be hazards are actually open space, like this one. Yeah, I have to do something about this. I need to fix the culling. I'm happy though. I'm happy with this. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's 1:09. I have work in the morning, so I should probably not go to sleep crazy late. I'm really happy with the changes we have today, guys. I feel like we've been through a slump, and now we're starting to go through like we're not busters. We're actually not frauds. We can actually do some stuff. So I'm actually really happy. Today's been a crazy stream. Oh my goodness, dude. We had like a lot of people come in. Everyone who's new, hi. It's nice to meet you guys. I'm sorry I didn't see as much of chat as I usually like to do, but it was quite a lot of things going on here. But yeah. Of course, as always, before I sign off, we have the Discord. I'm going to be making a Discord RPG, I think, after this project, which should be a fun project. Yeah. But I think that's yeah, and then we also have like a whole thing for like a little forum for people. So if any of you guys are trying to learn programming or art or something else, we have like this whole gym leaders thing with a bunch of people in the Discord who volunteer their knowledge and talents. So if you want to learn about GPU, there's someone you can reach out for that, and we have a forum for that kind of stuff. I think it's a pretty helpful community we have here. So if that sounds like something that's up your alley, feel free to join, and of course you can always ask me questions in the Ask Cozy section here too. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Hope you have a good night. God bless, and as always, stay cozy. Ta-ta.